Cinderella.
There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Thank you. May you be seated. Statements by members. Just a reminder to honorable members that in terms of our rules, the time allocation for member statements is as follows. Each statement is 1.5 minutes. Responses to a statement is 2 minutes, and a maximum of 7 statements are allowed under this rule. Are there any member statements? Honorable Mnene.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to render a statement on behalf of the ANC to applaud the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land and Environmental Affairs under the stewardship of MEC Moeketsi for successfully launching a massive provincial vaccination of cattle against foot and mouth disease that has been confirmed in parts of our county. Honorable Speaker, many farming families, rural communities, and those employed in the livestock value chain are anxious about the implications of this disease for their animals, livelihoods, and local economies. Foot and mouth disease primarily affects cloven-hoofed animals such as cattle, sheep, goats, and pigs. Although it is highly contagious amongst animals, it does not present public health risk. We recognize the economic and personal toll to this outbreak places on farmers and workers. We also welcome the effort by our government for putting in place financial and non-financial assistance for affected producers, including emergency relief, support for feed and animal care where needed. To further prevent spread, we ask every farmer and livestock owner to strengthen on-farm biosecurity, restrict access to their farms, avoid moving animals, vehicles, and equipment between farms unless authorized. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honorable Moeketsi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to yourself, Honorable Premier, and all the MECs and all the members. Honorable Speaker, we firstly want to appreciate the effort by our government for really supporting our farmers through this experience of this FMD. We are happy as a province that also we have received our share of a vaccine through the first batch and the second batch that we just received. We are continuing with our program of vaccination and ensuring that we also prioritize those areas that we say they are greatly affected by this foot and mouth disease. But also we are requesting from our honorable members and also our communities that they must work with us as the department, and they must know that we are not doing this because we want to do it as a department, but we are supporting them. So they need to be cooperative in terms of ensuring that we cap the spread of this virus. But we want to assure yourselves, honorable members, that we are rolling out this vaccination. For now, the affected areas, these 2 districts, but we also have suspected cases here at Hlanzeni, but we are paying close attention to this process. Thank you very much.
Honorable Nkonyana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the ANC welcomes the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Mpumalanga Provincial Government and the University of Mpumalanga. The critical aspect of the Memorandum of Understanding is that it strengthens the collaboration on sustainable development, innovation, and job creation. The key priority areas of agreement includes hybrid rice innovation, artificial intelligence-driven initiatives, healthcare research, short learning programs, and improved service delivery, amongst others. Honorable Speaker, this formal framework collaboration will enable the provincial government to leverage the institution expertise, research capacity, and human capital in support of the development priorities, whilst the trajectory is predicted in addressing unemployment and inequality in the province. It requires such deliberative partnership in advancing strategic investment in areas such as agriculture, agri-processing skills, diversification, which is supported by research and innovation and will unlock new economic priorities and positions the province for long-term growth. As the ANC, we are thrilled that this collaboration between University of Mpumalanga and Mpumalanga Provincial Government will produce the desirable REAP effort for the province development priorities. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Masina.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me greet the Honorable Premier, MECs, and all members of this House. Honorable Speaker, let me appreciate the statement by Honorable Nkonyane. Indeed, as provincial government, we have entered into this MOU, which we think is a very progressive move in enabling the university and the province to work together in order to advance the lives of the people of Mpumalanga. Like it has been alluded by Honorable Nkonyana, that amongst the projects that are going to be implemented is the hybrid rice, which will promote the sustainable agriculture, innovation, and applied research. And indeed, it is going to create a number of jobs, as alluded by the Premier in his State of the Province address. This will also assist us in artificial intelligence training for the people of Mpumalanga, for our learners, the AI mathematics-driven education. So we are appreciative of this MOU. Madam Speaker, this progressive move will enable Mpumalanga government to use empirical evidence to respond to the needs of the people of the Mpumalanga through research, innovation, and technology capacity, building the community of Mpumalanga. Indeed, this province is at work. Thank you very much.
Honorable Demande. Honorable Shongwe, sorry.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of Umkhonto weSizwe Party to request this House to note with concern the alarming state of learners' transportation at Viechevon in Chief Albert Luthuli, which needs urgent attention. Honorable Speaker, it is heartbreaking to see that what is happening to the learners of Sieta Primary School and Tlabangamehlo Secondary School in Chief Albert Luthuli. The Scholar Transport Service Provider is currently transporting 131 learners using a 65-passenger bus. When parents started registering their complaints to the principal, he blatantly told them that they must persevere because there was nothing he can do to solve their problem. The parents also engaged the district officials seeking intervention, but all their efforts were in vain. The service provider then decided to remove 66 of the learners from the transport, and he is now transporting only 65. The other 66 are now having no transport to school. Thereby, at times, it may lead to learners to be overcrowded in the bus. Department neglect the learners' well-being and demand immediate action and to ensure safety, reliable and adequate transport. Honorable Speaker, learners shouldn't have stress about transport getting to school on time due to challenges of transport issues. MK Party believes that it is essential to provide suitable transportation for all learners to ensure their access to education. Umkhonto weSizwe Party further notes that learners face uncertainty and risks daily, with some forced to take turns accessing transport, leading to tardiness and disrupted learning. Some of the challenges faced by learners, Honorable Speaker, are late arrival or absenteeism.
Your time is up, Honorable Member. Can you please take your seat?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tomo.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity, and let me take this opportunity to greet yourself and the Honorable Premier. Well, Speaker, I think first thing first, we need to really appreciate and welcome the statement by the member. The matter has been brought to my attention yesterday by the MEC responsible for education. Immediately, I acted on that by dispatching a team from our transport operation to go and attend to the matter, and other schools, just by the way, around Chief Albert Lutul. But we're in a process as a department to reform and reconfigure scholar transport in the province, because we have inherited a lot of discrepancies. So we are fixing the contract. By the 1st of April, we'll be having a new contract with new scholar transport operators. So these problems and discrepancies that we're experiencing are going to be addressed, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mkabela.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me start by sending an apology to the Honorable Premier about the insult in one of the placards by our protesters outside the legislature precinct during the SOPA. We are not in the business of insulting people without facts, nor are we in the business of discussing who is in a relationship with whom. Ours is to demand transparency, fairness, and openness in the process of government and hold whoever is responsible accountable. Accept our sincere apologies, Honorable Premier. I rise, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the EFF to condemn the alleged acts of corruption and nepotism in the appointment of learners to the Traffic Officer Learnership Program within the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison. This follows the recent removal of 4 learners from the program merely 2 weeks after it had commenced, allegedly on the basis that they are 35 years of age, while the advert did not specify the age limit. What is deeply concerning is that these learners were reportedly removed without any formal communication from the department explaining the reasons for their removal and without any transparent or lawful process being followed. Such conduct raises serious concerns about transparency and fairness of the appointment processes. If indeed age was the reason, it is difficult to understand why other learners within the same program who are of the same age have not been subjected to the same treatment. This inconsistency raises serious questions about the integrity and credibility of the entire selection process. We therefore call for an immediate and transparent investigation into these allegations. The department must provide a full explanation regarding the removal of these learners, the criteria that were applied, and the process followed
Your time is
in
up. Can you
appointing
please take
those
your
who
seat?
replaced them. Furthermore, we call on the Premier to
Can you
urgently
please take your seat,
intervene
Honorable
in
Mkabela?
this matter to ensure that justice, fairness, and transparency prevail,
Honorable
and
Mkabela,
that
can
no
you please
learner is
take your
unfairly
seat?
prejudiced through irregular or politically influenced processes. I thank you.
Honorable members, can you please conduct yourselves according to the rules? Before I started the sitting, I reminded all honorable members that the time allocation for member statement is 1.5 minutes. When I indicate that your time is up, you must respect the rules. Honorable Masie.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me take also the opportunity to greet you, the Honorable Premier, honorable members of the legislature. We take note of the concern raised by the Honorable Kabela through here a statement. We'll further go deep because it's a matter that needs serious attention. If what we are saying is true, we need more information on that regard so that we'll furnish the House with proper response. Thank you very much.
Honorable Grobler.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise to deliver a member statement on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. Honourable Speaker, smaller towns like Sabi, Barberton, Leidenburg, Hazyview, Waterval Boven, and many others used to be jewels in Mpumalanga. These smaller towns contribute towards our tourism GDP, and if government looked after these towns, it would allow the provincial GDP to grow. Tourism is an economic driving factor in Mpumalanga, contributing up to 4% of our GDP. Investing in the infrastructure of these smaller towns would benefit Mpumalanga as a whole. But unfortunately, these towns are neglected with little to no service delivery. The roads are in a state of ruin, businesses are closing down, and tourists are driving past because it's not safe. Honourable Speaker, in his State of the Province address, the Premier stated that Mpumalanga has the second highest amount of tourists visiting provinces in the country. But he failed to mention that tourists don't spend their money in our province. They drive past our smaller towns due to the fact that our roads are bad and that people are scared to stop there because of the crime. Honourable Speaker, more needs to be done to save our small towns. We need concrete plans to execute and to implement a strategy to get tourists to our town and to get our local economies stimulated. I thank you.
Honorable Thomas.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Fortunately enough, Honorable Speaker, when we were about to start this sitting, Honorable Grobler came to me just to appreciate the Democratic Alliance almost on a daily basis. We respond to the calls that they are making. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Honorable Mashiane.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, Honorable members of this House, I rise on behalf of Action SA to address a deeply troubling incident that recently took place at a school in Emalahleni, Witbank. According to reports, a grade 7 learner who had allegedly been bullying other learners was reprimanded by a teacher at the school. However, when the learner returned home, he reported to his grandmother that the teacher had slapped him. Instead of following the appropriate channels to verify what had happened, the grandmother returned to the school accompanied by the other individuals. In full view of witnesses, they allegedly attacked the teacher, causing her physical harm. This conduct is completely unacceptable. What makes this matter even more concerning is that after the teacher opened a case with the South African Police Service last Friday following the attack, the accused individuals then laid a counter-complaint alleging that the teacher has slapped the learner. However, there was no camera footage supporting these allegations. These claims appear to contradict the available evidence and the accounts of witnesses. It is equally troubling that the learner's version of events failed to mention that he had allegedly been repeatedly bullying other learners. Honourable Speaker, schools must remain safe environments not only for learners but also for educators who dedicate their lives to shaping the future of our children. When adults resort to violence without establishing the facts, they undermine the rule of law and set a dangerous example for the very children they are meant to guide. There are clear and established procedures for addressing grievances.
Your time is up, Honorable Member.
We therefore condemn it in the strongest possible terms. And I also want to comment.
Honorable Mashiane, your time is up. Honorable members, maybe I must quote another rule, which is Rule 49. In terms of our rule, the heading is time limits for speeches. Rule 49, subsection 1, unless otherwise provided for in these rules, members are restricted to the times allocated to them to speak on the business before the legislature. I request that all of us, let us adhere to the rules. Honorable Masina.
Very much, Honorable Speaker. And thank you very much for the statement by Honorable Mashiane. Indeed, bullying is one of the challenges we are experiencing across our schools in the province. It's one of the matters that the department is sitting down to look at various ways where we can invite all our stakeholders to can deal with this bullying. But of course, we are working together with the Department of Safety, Security and Liaising, just to make sure that at sometimes they do visit schools, they become visible, just to make sure that learners, when they see them, at least they become aware that SAPS is around. So it's a matter that we are going to ask everybody to participate, because this is a matter that is affecting all of us. We are pleading and we are requesting that all of us let us assist in making sure that bullying does not become part of our schools, because I fully agree with the honourable member that schools must be saved. So the safety of our school is very much important. That is why as a department we are also participating in adopting a COP for each and every school. School safety committees are there, but indeed a lot needs to be done. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Is there any member statement? Executive statements. I am informed that there are no executive statements. Motions without notice. Are there any motions without notice? Honourable Khoza.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. On behalf of the African National Congress, I rise to move a motion without notice. During the month of February 2026, the Hawks arrested 40 individuals implicated in an alleged 114 million corruption scandal within the Mpumalanga Department of Education. Noting that the alleged criminal activities were committed in 2018, but the arrests were effected after a lengthy and thorough investigation that has been ongoing since 2020. The Hawks are confident that they have established a prima facie case against all 40 accused. Among the accused are senior government officials, a well-known pastor, service providers, and private individuals. The accused have appeared before court and are out on bail of plus 1.6 million combined. Honourable Speaker, the African National Congress welcomes the arrest and applauds the Hawks for the sterling job. During our manifesto, we have committed ourselves as leader of government to fight fraud and corruption. We have committed to protect public funds, ensure that all money earned through corrupt activities and malfeasance are fully recovered and channeled to deliver services to the people. I so move, Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agree to?
Agree.
So agreed. Honourable Ndimande.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Members. Honourable Speaker, I'm rising on behalf of the Party to appreciate some of the observations from the Mpumalanga Commission, which expose widespread corruption in municipalities. We requested this House to consider a mechanism to ensure transparency and accountability, including regular audit, strengthening oversight, and consequences for councillors violating the Code of Conduct. An example will be the allegations surrounding the ANC ward councillor in Ward 3 in Wazamogul and Reina under Steve Chwete municipality, who is alleged to be selling sites to communities to community members without the council approval, thereby floating council procedure and violating the Code of Conduct for councillors. Honourable Speaker, the MK Party requests the MEC for COCTA to investigate allegations. We request a transparent investigation and consideration of suspension to this councillor pending the outcome. We urge the MEC to keep the House informed of the progress and ensure accountability. MK Party believe that such investigations and potential suspension will send a clear message to all councillors that integrity and accountability are non-negotiable, and corrupt activities will be dealt with swiftly and severely. Unless the ANC, Honourable Speaker, is an institution of corruption. In conclusion, we demand action to root out corruption, protect public assets, and restore trust in local government. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to?
No.
The motion is defeated. Honorable Ndlovu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the EFF to move a motion without notice regarding unaccepted state of infrastructure at Majembeni Primary School and Mzinti Primary School in Nkomazi Municipality. Majembeni Primary School was established in 1983 with a current building dating back to 1985. For decades, Honorable Speaker, those schools have not received a meaningful maintenance or refurbishment. As a result, learners and educators are forced to teach and learn in conditions that are unsafe and undignified. During an oversight visit, Speaker, we observed several linkage roofs, cracked walls, broken windows, damaged ceilings, unsafe flooring, and classroom without doors. The schools are also faced with overwhelmed classroom and a shortage of learner, furnitures, and inadequate teaching space. Furthermore, Speaker, there are no proper staff rooms and administration offices, no kitchen for the preparation of meals, and no safe storage for food nutrition programs. The school also have poor fencing which compromises safety and a lack of proper water drainage, leaving the premises vulnerable to flooding. We therefore call on the Department of Education to urgently assess the condition of these schools and intervene by repairing, rehabilitating the infrastructure, providing adequate facilities and furniture, and ensure that learners in Nkomazi are able to learn in a safe, dignified, and conducive environment. I so move.
The question the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion.
Agreed.
So agreed. Honorable Khrovie Morgan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to yourself and the House at large. I rise on behalf of the Democratic Alliance to deliver a motion without notice. Noting the traffic nightmare we must endure during peak hours on the R40 between White River and Riverside Mall, the DA calls for the Provincial Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport to install traffic lights at both the intersections of Msholozi Settlement and the University of Mpumalanga. Honorable Speaker, our call for traffic lights on these intersections is a proactive measure to enhance safety for students, pedestrians, and other motorists who are joining the intersection during peak hours. Through you, Honorable Speaker, I would like to ask members of this House to do an oversight or drive through the R40 between White River and Riverside during peak hours, and they will see the traffic nightmare I am talking about. The implementation of the traffic lights in these mentioned intersections, Honorable Speaker, is a critical step in reducing the risk of accidents to everyone using the R40. We mind, Honorable Speaker, that it is our duty as authorities to play a pivotal role in implementing strategies that reduce the risk of accidents and create a safe environment for students, pedestrians, and motorists. Calling for Public Works to install traffic lights in those mentioned intersections is one of those strategies, Honorable Speaker. The Democratic Alliance is aware, Honorable Speaker, that Public Works might not have the budget to install traffic lights in this intersection. If that is the case, they can employ other techniques to manage traffic flow and reduce speed. One such measure is the deployment of provincial traffic officers during peak hours. They can assist in directing traffic, helping students cross safely, and ensuring drivers adhere to traffic rules. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to?
Agree.
So agreed. Honorable Fenyane.
No, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Party to request this House to note with concern the dire lack of basic services in Ward 12 in Emalahleni. It includes water scarcity, inequality, inadequate electricity, and poor road infrastructure. This has been going on for the past 7 years. The community members are rightfully also frustrated. We demand the municipality to provide a comprehensive plan to address these issues, to ensure accountability and prioritize people's needs. We also urge councillors to hold regular community meetings to ensure transparency and keep residents informed. It also will reduce tensions and unnecessary protests. This equally emphasized in our constitution in section 152E. As MK Party, we further query the effectiveness of what committees in ensuring service delivery as mandated by the community. Are they fulfilling their role? And how can their impact be strengthened? The people of Ward 12 deserve dignity, basic services, and a voice. Committees should also play their role and ensure that ward councillors are aware of the needs of their communities within their wards. Honourable Speaker, if municipalities and councillors can do their work and as clearly indicated in the Constitution, we will avoid unnecessary picketing, which we also saw during SOPA. In closing, Honourable Speaker, MK Party calls upon the municipality of Mpumalanga to stop playing with our people and come with concrete steps to address the challenges faced by the community of Ward 12. Honourable Mashilo, sakubawa khelebha abantu bangekhaya bahlupheka. Thank you.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion.
Agreed.
So agreed. Are there any motions without notice? Honourable Mavimbela.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, today I rise to recognize and celebrate International Women's Day, a day dedicated to honoring the strength, courage, and achievements of women across the world. Women have played a vital role in building families, communities, and nations. International Women's Day is celebrated annually on the 8th of March. The 2026 theme is Give to Gain, which emphasizes fostering a culture of generosity, mentorship, and collaboration to accelerate gender equality. Noting that this day may remind us of the struggles women have faced in the past and the progress that has been made towards equality, justice, and empowerment. It also reminds us that there is still work to be done to ensure that women and girls enjoy equal opportunities, respect, and protection from discrimination and violence. Further note that women are leaders, educators, caregivers, innovators, and change makers. Their community development continue to shape a better future for all. We therefore urge this House to acknowledge the importance of empowering women and commit itself to promote gender equality, respect, and support for women in all spheres of life. Honourable Speaker, as we commemorate this day, we must remember the tremendous contributions that women have made to our society and recognize the challenges that they still face. Let us continue to uplift women, support their leadership, and ensure that every girl child grows up knowing that her voice matters and her dreams are valid. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to? Agreed. So agreed. Is there any motion without notice? Notices of motion. Are there notices of motion? Honourable Qibi.
Inhlikani ka n'wina mana xipikara xikan'we na vurhangeri bya EFF lebyi rhangeleke hi Holobye Sidibe xikan'we na yindlu hinkwayo ya huvo yo endla milawu ya Mpumalanga. Honourable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the EFF to move a motion of notice that this House in its next sitting consider debating the need for the allocation of budget towards the maintenance and rehabilitation of our industrial park in order to stimulate economic activity and contribute to sustainable jobs creation within the province. I so move.
The motion is noted and will be dealt with accordingly. Are there notices of motion? Formal motions. I am informed that there are no formal motions. Orders of the day. The Secretary shall read the first order of the day.
Order number 1, debate on Premier's State of the Province address.
I have a speaker's list in front of me. I will now call upon the Honorable E.N. Makabane from the ANC, and you are given 10 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier, members of the Executive, Honorable members, distinguished guests, comrades and compatriots. We rise today as the African National Congress to participate in this important debate on the 2026 State of the Province Address delivered by the Honorable Premier Mandla Ndlovu. This debate takes place at the historic moment in our democracy during Human Rights Month, as our country commemorates the 30th anniversary of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. Honorable Speaker, the State of the Province Address delivered by the Premier provides a frank and honest account of the state of our province. He outlined both the achievements we have made and the challenges we must still overcome. That honesty must be welcomed because the ANC has never claimed that the road to freedom would be easy. What we have always promised the people is that we will confront our challenges and act decisively to resolve them. The address was firmly anchored in the priorities articulated by the African National Congress January 8 statement, which has declared 2026 as, open quote, year of decisive action to fix local government and transform economy, close quote. This theme is not a slogan. It is a commitment to the people of Mpumalanga that the ANC-led government will accelerate service delivery, rebuild capable municipalities, and drive inclusive economic transformation. Indeed, the address demonstrated that our provincial government remains firmly guided by the principles of the Freedom Charter, which continues to serve as a pillar of our Constitution and a compass guiding our efforts to eradicate poverty and inequality. Honorable Speaker, the State of the Province Address indicates that Mpumalanga's economy continues to show significant sign of recovery and growth. Employment levels have improved, with province recording the highest level of employment in its history, now exceeding 1.28 million people with jobs, reflecting significant net job gains in key sectors such as construction and trade. At the same time, Mpumalanga continues to attract investment, including multi-billion rand commitment in the green economy, positioning our province as a critical driver of South Africa's future economic growth. These are not just abstract statistics. They represent a real expanding opportunity for our people, particularly young people seeking meaningful economic participation and sustainable livelihood. Honorable Speaker, the Premier also reminded us that progress does not mean perfection. Many of our communities continue to face challenges related to service delivery, infrastructure, unemployment, and inequality. It is precisely for this reason that the African National Congress has placed fixing local government at the center of the national agenda in 2026. Local government is the sphere of government closest to the people. It is the sphere responsible for the service delivery of basic services such as water, sanitation, electricity, roads, and waste management. When local government functions effectively, our communities experience the tangible benefits of democracy. The State of the Province address clearly outlines the decisive interventions that the provincial government is implementing to support municipalities. These include skills audit to strengthen municipal capacity, infrastructure investment, and partnerships with national departments and the private sector to address service delivery challenges. This reflects the ANC's commitment to building a capable and developmental state as mandated by the people in the 2024 elections. Honorable Speaker, the second pillar of the African National Congress Programme of Action is economic transformation and inclusive growth. The address highlighted several initiatives aimed at transforming the provincial economy. These include investment in agriculture, tourism, green energy, infrastructure development, and the establishment of the Nkomazi special economic zoning. These initiatives are aligned with the ANC's broader program to industrialize the economy, support SMMEs, empower youth entrepreneurs, and expand participation of historically disadvantaged communities in key sectors of the economy. Equally, Honorable Speaker, important are the strategic partnerships between government, the private sector, academic institutions, and civil society. The collaboration between the provincial government and the University of Mpumalanga on agricultural innovation and economic development is a prime example of how partnership can drive growth and job creation. Honorable Speaker, the State of the Province address also reaffirmed government's determination to wage war against crime, corruption, and gender-based violence. Corruption undermines development and erodes public trust in public institutions. The recent arrest of officials and business people implicated in corruption demonstrate that government is taking a firm stance against wrongdoing and fully cooperating with law enforcement agencies to root out corruption wherever it exists. Similarly, the scourge of gender-based violence and femicide, now recognized as a national disaster, demands a united response from government and society. The programs outlined by the Honorable Premier to support victims, strengthen shelters, and mobilize communities form part of a broader national effort to confront this crisis. The year 2026 also calls upon us to deepen social cohesion and national unity. As we commemorate the 30th anniversary of the Constitution, South Africans are invited to participate in a national dialogue aimed at building a country that truly belongs to all who live in it. This dialogue must reaffirm our shared values, confront the challenges that divide us, and renew our collective commitment to the democratic project. The African National Congress also recognizes that our work does not end at our borders. The ANC-led government remains committed to building a better Africa and contributing to a more just and peaceful world. Our foreign policy continues to promote peace, multilateral cooperation, and solidarity among the nation. Honorable Speaker, the vision articulated in the State of the Province address is one of our hope, progress, and renewal. It is a vision where our municipalities function effectively, our economy grows and creates jobs, our young people access opportunity, women and children live free from violence, and the wealth of Mpumalanga benefit all who live in it. This is the vision of the African National Congress.
Round up, Honorable Member.
As we mark 3 decades of constitutional democracy, We must remember the words of President Cyril Ramaphosa during the drafting of our constitution when he said, "This constitution with its Bill of Rights is the mirror of South African society. It reflects both the history from which we have emerged and the values we now cherish: human dignity, equality, and freedom." Indeed, Honorable Speaker, as we debate this State of the Province address, we must recommit ourselves in ensuring that the ideals of our Constitution are translated into real improvement in the lives of our people of Mpumalanga. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I will now call upon the Honorable R.J. Malachi from the EFF, and you are given 6 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the people of Mpumalanga listened carefully when the Premier stood before this House to deliver the State of the Province address. They listened because they hoped to hear honesty about the condition they faced every single day. But instead of honesty, what they heard was a carefully crafted speech that attempted to paint a picture of progress that it simply does not exist. Because outside this legislature, the reality is clear. The people of Mpumalanga are trapped in unemployment, poverty, and deepening inequality. Honorable Speaker, the Premier stood before this House and claimed that the unemployment is declining. But if you go to Bushbuckridge, Tabachwewu, Emalahleni, Nkomazi, or Govenberg, you'll meet thousands of young people who wake up every morning with no job, no opportunities. These are young people with qualification, young people with skills, young people who are ready to work, but this government has failed to build an economy that includes them. And that failure is not only visible in unemployment, it is visible across every sector of this province. Speaker, Mpumalanga is a province with enormous agricultural potential. Our land is fertile, our climate allows production throughout the year, and agriculture could create thousands of jobs for rural communities. Yet the emerging black farmers continue to struggle without land, without funding, without equipment, and without access to market. Honorable Speaker, the safety is another issue that the Premier deliberately avoided. Our communities are living in a high level of crime, and women and children in particular continue to face violence and abuse. Our people do not feel safe to walk on the street when they open their business and when they send their children to school. Honorable Speaker, at the heart of these problems is the economic of the Honorable Speaker, at the heart of all these problems is the economic structure of this province. The economy of Mpumalanga remains concentrated in the hands of white minority, while the black majority remains excluded from the meaningful ownership and control. This is why the economic freedom fighters remain resolute in advancing the cardinal pillars of the economic freedom. We say the land must be returned to the people through expropriation without compensation. We say that wealth beneath the soil of Mpumalanga must benefit the people through the nationalization of mine strategic sectors of the economy. We say that the state must lead a program of industrialization that creates sustainable jobs for our young people. And we say that quality education and health care must be guaranteed for all, not only for those who can afford private services. Real economic transformation must place the wealth of Mpumalanga in the hands of the people. Anything less is simply continuation of apartheid economic under the different administration. The Premier may stand here and quote lessons from his grandmother, but the real lesson from our elders is that leadership is measured by not speeches, but by the lives of the people, by the lives of the people. The economic freedom fighters note this State of the Province address. We note the empty promises. We note the misrepresentation of reality. And we reject government that continues to talk about progress while our people remain trapped in poverty, unemployment, and inequality. The people of Mpumalanga deserve safe schools, they deserve functional clinics, they deserve reliable water and electricity, they deserve jobs and land economic opportunities. The EFF will continue to fight relentlessly for those demands, because for us, the struggle for economic freedom in our lifetime is not a slogan, it is a commitment to the people. The time for speeches is over, the time for accountability is now, the time for justice is now, and the time for economic freedom fight is now. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I will now call upon the Honorable TMJ Rovia Morgan from the Democratic Alliance, and you are given 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Greetings once again. The State of the Province address delivered on Friday by the Honourable Premier Mandla Ndlovu was uninspiring and frankly was the repeat of the 2024 and 2025 speeches with little to no updates. Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Premier delivered a State of the Province address when the new administration was elected. He announced the establishment of the multi-purpose arena, the new tourism products, the construction of the new Mbombela Dam, which the building should have started in 2026. The Honourable Premier stated in the 2025 SOPA that the feasibility study of the Mbombela Dam is at an advanced stage. The tourism products, the cable car in Mariepskop Mountain, water waves, and the Barberton Makonjo Heritage Site. The Honourable Premier stated further that the agri-hubs, Mkuhlu, Mkondo, and Dr. J.S. Maroka were going to be fixed or repaired and become fully operational. Honourable Premier, in your speech on Friday, you chose your words very carefully to ensure that the people of Mpumalanga did not hear the actual status of previous pronouncements made, hence the reason you choose not to mention the progress on certain projects like the Dr. J.S. Maroka and the Mkondo agri-hubs. Both have been vandalized, and through corruption of contractors and government official, millions have been stolen and nowhere near being opened or operationalized, nor creating the hundreds of jobs. The Makonjo Mountain World Heritage Site might lose its status due to the criminal activities taking place with the illegal miners, and the same goes for Pilgrim's Rest and other tourist destinations, which is not only the poor road condition, but now the criminal element that is costing the province revenue. Similarly, Honourable Speaker, with the recent arrest made by the Hawks, where government officials were arrested for allegedly stealing millions from the poorest of the poor, the most vulnerable, our learners, the Premier did not welcome the arrest in his speech. The Honourable Premier missed an opportunity to take a stand and state that corruption will have a zero tolerance and that he will place all government officials on precautionary suspension if implicated in any form of corruption. Honourable Speaker, as much as the Honourable Premier tried to paint a picture of all is well in Mpumalanga, the voters are seeing through the pretty words. The very same voters raised the questions as why the Premier has the need of a Premier's advisory panel. This panel will cost Mpumalanga taxpayers millions. The so-called experts will be close connection friends of the Premier and the provincial government. It also shows the people of this province that the Honourable Premier has lost faith in his own cabinet and the government employees in the various departments who are employed as experts in their fields and earn millions. In conclusion, Honourable Speaker, the Premier's missed opportunities gives way for new opportunities and a new government. With 2026 being a local government election, the DA believes that the voters will rise up against failure to deliver basic services and manage public funds and create functional economic environment, and will stand up to corruption and vote in a DA government that will turn Mpumalanga into an economic hub and create an environment that is conducive for job creation. I thank you.
I will now call upon the Honourable T.S. Tomo from the ANC, and you're given 7 minutes.
Now, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to extend my greetings to yourself, the Honourable Premier, Honourable members of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, and the people of Mpumalanga. I greet you all. Madam Speaker, the message delivered by the Honourable Premier in this august House speaks to the enduring responsibility of the provincial government to advance the developmental aspirations of our people. The well-renowned Italian philosopher Antonio Gramsci spoke of the need for pessimism of the intellect, but optimism of the will. In essence, Madam Speaker, collective leadership requires to confront challenges with honesty while sustaining the political will to act decisively in pursuit of the prosperity and development of our province. The state of the province addressed by the Premier embodies precisely that spirit, sober in its recognition of challenges before us, yet firm in its conviction that through responsive governance and unwavering political will, those challenges can and must be overcome. The address by the Honourable Premier, Madam Speaker, is a compelling articulation of a developmental state guided by the enduring vision of the Freedom Charter. The infrastructure investment approach pronounced in the State of the Province address constitute a coherent economic strategy to confront the deeply interrelated triple challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. Encouragingly, Madam Speaker, empirical evidence is already visible. It's out there. According to the Statistics South Africa Quarterly Labour Force Survey, the fourth quarter of 2025 employment in Mpumalanga reached close to 1.28 million people, the highest level ever recorded under this administration. This reflects not job gains across the key sectors, with notable employment growth recorded in the construction and built environment industries. The employment gains in this sector demonstrate a fundamental economic truth that strategic infrastructure investment strengthen provincial value chains. The Premier's social infrastructure investment, particularly in the construction of roads and bridges, clinics and hospitals, schools and libraries, while simultaneously expanding training opportunities for the youth, are central to our job massification program. Madam Speaker, these initiatives create pathways for employment and skills development through programs such as Siatendela Roads Maintenance Program, Artisan Development Initiatives, the Sakabaki Development Program, the National Youth Service, and the Young Professional Program. Over the past year, Madam Speaker, the province invested approximately 2.5 billion in the road and socio-economic infrastructure, spanning both urban and rural communities. These investments are aligned with the medium-term development plan, which sets our ambition yet necessary target of at least 60,000 new jobs per year. Madam Speaker, in 2025, Mpumalanga created 28,717 jobs, representing nearly 50% of the annual target. Encouragingly, the provincial unemployment rate declined to 32.3% in the fourth quarter of the 2025 financial year. The stats are there, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the economic trajectory outlined by the Honourable Premier also reflect a strategic appreciation of the comparative advantage of our province in economic literature. The principles of comparative advantage emphasizes that in order to achieve growth, we should continue to concentrate on sectors where we possess natural, geographic, and productive capacities. And Mpumalanga is uniquely endowed in this regard. Honorable Speaker, our province possesses fertile agricultural land, abundant minerals resources, globally renowned tourism attraction, and strategic geographic position. By aligning the policy pronouncement of the Honorable Premier with this comparative advantage, the provincial government is strategically positioning Mpumalanga to maximize productivity and stimulate growth. The State of the Province address highlighted a number of strategic catalytic projects that will strengthen both service delivery and economic expansion. On the tourism front, progress on the iconic God's Window Skywalk project is appreciated, with the construction expected to commence very soon. The completion of Road D2950 in Mananga, the drainage improvement in Tambokulu, and the completion of Kumani Bridge, and similarly the completion of roads in Matibela Phase 2B and the completion of Road D2915 in Zitabiseng, a tangible example of infrastructure investment for the province. Madam Speaker, the partnership between the provincial government and the University of Mpumalanga represent a critical platform for knowledge and research-driven development. Through the MOU, the university research capacity and intellectual capital
are being mobilized to support provincial economic priorities. Today, the university is an emerging research and development hub catalyzing new economic opportunities for Mpumalanga. One example is the pilot hybrid rice cultivation project in partnership with investors from China, which the Honorable Premier reflected on. The initiatives represent foreign direct investment into the provincial economy with a massive projected turnover and jobs to be created. Madam Speaker, Mpumalanga economy is underpinned by what economic historians and industrial policy scholars describe as the minerals energy complex, where the attraction and utilization of mineral resources such as coal drive industrial development. Therefore, our abundant coal reserves continue to represent significant competitive advantage for the province, and the provincial government support for the carbon capture and storage pilot initiative in Leandra is commendable. Madam Speaker, as this government, these initiatives are demonstrating of a trailblazing ANC-led government in Mpumalanga, the Premier has laid a clear and coherent evidence-based plan to grow our economy. Intuthuko iyaqhubeka, Madam Speaker, kusazobhunya luthuli. Thank you very much.
I now call upon the Honorable A.M.M. Weber from the Democratic Alliance, and you are given 3 minutes.
Honourable Premier, the speech you delivered with SOPA was clearly electioneering, promising the residents of Mpumalanga many opportunities. For instance, housing, townships, title deeds, job creation, but the lack of real service delivery was obvious. In 2025, you proclaimed 6 brand new schools to be delivered in 2026, yet not a single word regarding the progress of these schools. The real progress of these schools are embarrassing. 2 of the 6 schools were outsourced to IDT and is standing at 39% and 55%. The other schools are projects by Public Works, which are Kakavela High Primary School at 15% and Shayaza Secondary School at a mere 13%. And now 20 more schools promised. I am numb to think how these schools will ever be completed. The question here is, why is Public Works an implementing agent if they do not have the capacity to build all of these? Because the Bedford School in Nkumazi receives 18 million per year for the accommodation in this guest house, but for the 2nd year in a row, the matric learners of this school have a 0% pass rate. Is this not an indication of the department's outlook for our deaf learners? We are currently entering the 15th year of the promise of the deaf and blind school. In the beginning of 2025, the Premier stated that the department has finalized the planning of the deaf and blind school and the building will commence in the 2025-26 financial year. Our financial year is ending at the end of this month, and yet no indication of any building has started. I visited the site recently and I found the following. The department requested Mpumalanga municipality for the extra 33 hectares above the 33 hectares they already have. Why is so much land needed? There is no infrastructure, no storm drainage, no water, no electricity at all. This is also a water scarce area. To date, no stone have been moved, no construction has taken place, not even a board announcing the deaf and blind school. Last year, it was indicated that 100 million was spent on the designing phase and another 10 million was adjusted, but yet the planning is only at 85%. How much money was spent over the past 15 years for the various designs as the project has been moved from one area to the next? Was there even EIAs done, and who is benefiting because our learners are not? As you all know, that education is the basis of a country's development and growth. It is clear that the foundation phase is of extreme importance, yet there is no mention of the 23% of grade 3 learners that cannot read for meaning, and there is no plan to address it. The basis of reading for meaning starts at grade 3, 1 and 2. So the plan should be working from foundation phase that by the time learners get to grade 3, they can read for meaning. Reading for meaning, teaching, does not start at grade 3. I thank you.
I will now call upon the Honorable L.L. Masina from the ANC, and you're given 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The Deputy Speaker, Honorable Sam Masango, Honorable Premier, Mr. Mandla Ndlovu, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Honorable Tulsi Lekoza, Honorable Members of the Provincial Legislature, President of Contralesa, the Chairperson of Mpumalanga House of Traditional Leaders, and Khoisan Hoshim Kwena, all our distinguished guests. Madam Speaker, I rise today with a profound sense of gratitude and humility, mindful of the giants upon whose shoulders we stand. Our democratic commitment to education is rooted in the historic aspirations of our people as articulated in the Freedom Charter, which profoundly declared that the doors of learning and culture shall be open. Those words were a revolutionary promise that every child, regardless of race, class, or location, would enjoy the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to reach their potential. Madam Speaker, that promise found its powerful expression in Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, the product of our hard-won freedom and the embodiment of the dreams and aspirations of our people. In its preamble, our Constitution commands that we should improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person. In Mpumalanga, Honorable Speaker, we regard this constitutional mandate that equally placed education at the very center of our transformation agenda as sacrosanct. Madam Speaker, the progress we are witnessing is a direct result of the visionary leadership from the Honorable Premier, Mr. Mandla Ndlovu, whose State of the Nation of the Province address chartered a bold and practical course for improving education outcomes in Mpumalanga. Under his stewardship, our province is steadily positioning itself among the leading provinces in education delivery. For example, Honorable Speaker, the province is currently holding the national best teacher position, the best two learners in mathematics, and best learner in the technical mathematics. Honorable Premier, we commend your foresight, your determination, and your commitment to the future of our children. Your injunction is clear and is free from ambiguity that the future of Mpumalanga will be built in our classrooms. You challenged us with a clear and transformative vision that one learner, one tablet, one learner, one desk, one teacher for every class and every subject. These commitments, Honorable Speaker, represent the building blocks of a progressive, people-centered, inclusive education system. We applaud this foresight and visionary leadership that we are to respond decisively to eliminate overcrowded classrooms, to replace the remaining 43 unsafe schools, eliminate the overcrowded, to replace the remaining 43 unsafe schools that were historically built by our communities under extremely difficult conditions, and we're going to build 2 blocks of 8 classrooms in each of the 10 schools across the province this financial year. This means 80 new classrooms accommodating 3,200 more learners. This is leadership in action, Honorable Premier. The rollout of learning technology is already gaining momentum across the province. 60,000 tablets are distributed to grade 12 learners, with additional 80,000 to be rolled out to grade 10 learners this month. These tablets are loaded with e-books and education supplementary material, including study guides, previous question papers, video lessons. Honorable Speaker, they do not replace teachers, but they are a progressive tool to enhance learning and teaching and to make education fashionable to our learners. We attribute the current outstanding performance of our learners, amongst others, to this noble but patriotic intervention. Madam Speaker, the future of our province begins long before the child enters grade 1. We are encouraged that more than 70,000 children who are in 1,300 registered ECD centers are subsidized of 24 rand per child per day, and 69,221 grade R learners are enrolled in our public schools. The Mpumalanga Early Childhood Institute is a vehicle for which the ECD practitioners are capacitated. Honorable Speaker, we are very much humbled to indicate that 1,729 grade R practitioners are now fully equipped fully qualified, strengthening the quality of teaching in the earliest learning of our children. More than 1 million learners benefit from the no-fee school policy and the National School Nutrition Program. 67,221 learners do benefit from the scholar transport programs. We are ensuring that the distance to school does not become a barrier to learning. Madam Speaker, Mpumalanga has recorded an encouraging improvement in learner progression. The proportion of learners who start grade R to complete grade 12 has now improved to 67%, which is above the national average of 64%. Our work as a department is further strengthened through the community mobilization campaign, Ranza Shikolo Shawena. As we move forward, Honorable Speaker, we reaffirm our commitment to act with greater agency, innovation, and determination to ensure that education in Mpumalanga continues to rise.
Round up, honorable members.
The sun of learning is rising in every village, in every township, and in every community across our province. To this end, we shall salute all our teachers who are the torchbearers of our future prospects. We're truly grateful of our stakeholders who rally side by side with us as we educate the people of this province, the place of the rising sun. Under the leadership of our Premier, we remain confident that the future of education in Mpumalanga is bright, and it is possible, and it is attainable in our lifetime. Siyathokoza katsheni, siyabonga boya benyati.
I will now call upon the Honorable W.L. Weber from the Freedom Front Plus, and you're given 4 minutes.
Madam Speaker, you will allow me to deliver my speech from here. At this point in time, as I stand before you, I'm actually on medical leave because I had an eye operation just before SOPA. But notwithstanding that, don't worry, I'm recovering. I'll be with you, and I'll hold the governing party to account. Madam Speaker, I've raised my concerns about water supply, about power supply, about the state of our municipalities at a number of occasions. It serves no purpose to repeat them once again. I will today concentrate on our infrastructure, and I believe that we are neglecting our infrastructure. If I look at the figures, Madam Speaker, if I look at the amount that is being spent by the Western Cape, the portion from the budget that is spent on maintenance of infrastructure, it's more than 5%. In KZN, it is between 5 and 6%. Mpumalanga is only spending less than 5%. If you look at municipal level, the Western Cape municipalities spend 8 to 9% of their budget on the maintenance of infrastructure. KZN is spending 7 to 8% of the budget on infrastructure. We only spend 6 to 7%. Once again, we are the lowest. Madam Speaker, we can't allow our infrastructure to deteriorate. Madam Speaker, yabona, inkomazi leyokusenga mawungayiphakeli kahle ayehlisi kahle. Manje lezi imigwaqo zethu masingayiphakeli kahle ngesikuntiyela zizobanjwa umkhokhoba zizobhidlika. Now, Madam Speaker, I urge and I advise the Honourable Premier to spend more on our budget, a higher percentage of our budget on infrastructure maintenance, because we can't allow our infrastructure to deteriorate and at the end of the day, completely disintegrate. Madam Speaker, I've been in the committees, and I can say that I am assured by the reports that are given to me that our Premier has a firm grip on his department, on his office, but there is room for improvement. And the room for improvement is infrastructure. I seriously urge the Honourable Premier to spend more on infrastructure, because that is the backbone of our economy. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I will now call upon the Honorable K. Garcia from the NC in 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, members of the Executive Council, honorable members of the Legislature, our traditional leaders, Uhoshi Mkwena, and the people of Mpumalanga. Honorable Speaker, allow me to begin by expressing appreciation to the Honorable Premier for presenting a State of the Province address that speak directly to the lives and reality of our people. The State of the Province address presented by the Honorable Premier is not merely a report of government activities. It's a clear political statement of direction and intent. What the Honorable Premier tabled before this House is a practical program of action grounded in the life reality of our community. Honorable Speaker, the opposition wants this House and the people of Mpumalanga to believe that Mpumalanga is collapsing. They parade exaggerated narrative of doom and despair, but the facts stubbornly refuse to cooperate with their pessimism. The reality is that Mpumalanga remains one of the most stable and improving provinces in the country, precisely because the African National Congress continue to govern with a clear development vision. Under the leadership of the ANC government, Mpumalanga has consistently maintained its position among the top provinces nationally in reducing crime level for several reporting periods. This is not a propaganda. These are verified national crime stats. These achievements reflect the strength of coordinated governance between the South African Police Service, provincial government, municipality, and community policing forum, and other JCPS partners. His address reflects a government that understands the safety, stability, and effective governance are a foundation upon which economic growth, social justice, and development must build. Without safety, there can be no investment. Without stability, there can be no development. Without justice, there can be no lasting peace. The 7 priorities articulated by the Honorable Premier reaffirm the 7 administration is determined to build a province where community feel protected, where institutions function effectively, and where the rule of law prevail. Honorable Speaker, our ongoing fight against gender-based violence and femicide, the province has made measurable progress in strengthening victims' support services. Out of 85 police stations in Mpumalanga now have functionally and adequately resourced victim-friendly rooms. These spaces are critically because they provide victims, in particular women and children, with a safe, private, and dignified environment in which to report crime and receive immediate support. However, restoring justice in cases of GBV does not end with conviction and perpetrators. Justice must also mean restoring the dignity and well-being of the victim. This requires trained personnel who are not only skilled in handling sensitive cases, but who also possess a professionalism and compassion required to safeguard confidence information and provide emotional and psychosocial support to the victim during the most difficult moment of their life. Strengthening these services therefore remain a central priority of the ANC-led government as we continue to build a justice system and protect and support the most vulnerable members of our society. Honorable Speaker, the launch of GPVF Council under the leadership of the Premier as a champion has injected renewed momentum in our collective effort to confront and defeat the scourge of gender-based violence in Mpumalanga. Implementation of the 90 days acceleration plan on GPV.
Honorable Basie, can you please take your seat? Honorable Ndlovu.
I want to ask the MEC if he is ready to take a question, Speaker.
No, I'm not ready. The implementation of the 90 days acceleration plan on GPV, together with a successful establishment of GPVF Council, has created a coordinated and permanent platform to bring together government and law enforcement agencies and civil society and community structures to intensify the fight against violence directed at women and children. Operationally, the result of this intervention are beginning to show. From April to December 2025, a total of 1,182 were recorded in rape-related cases, demonstrating the growing effectiveness of coordinated law enforcement and investigating effort. Furthermore, in April 2025 and January 2026, court handed down significant sentence with 25 accused receiving life imprisonment, 21 sentences between 20 and 40 years, and 25 receiving sentence ranging from 15 to 18 years. These are tangible results, Honorable Speaker. Asidlali lana siyabopha, yekeleni lento nzosilimalela, siyabonga.
I will now call upon the Honorable J.E. Lukele from the MK Party, and you are given 16 minutes.
Ngiyabonga, Speaker, Honorable Speaker, bingelele kubo bonke ama-member we-legislature, Honorable MEC, ngibingelele inkosi ubaba uMkwena nabo bonke abantu baseMpumalanga abathethe isikhathi sanamhlanje entambama ukuthi bazolalela i-debate yanamhlanje. Honorable Speaker, I rise on this day, the 10th of March 2026, to debate the state of the province address by which was delivered by the Honorable Premier, Honorable Mpumalanga Ndlovu, on the 5th of March. I do so as an adversary, not as an adversary seeking political point scoring, but as a voice for the millions of Mpumalanga citizens whose suffering has been glossed over by a speech filled with grand promises and little accountability. It is with disappointment and disheartening that in the SOPA delivered last year, 2025, the Premier made the following promises regarding the improvement of infrastructure, especially road infrastructure, job creation and economic growth, enhanced healthcare services, and better education outcomes. As MK Party, we are not going to clap hands and acknowledge generalized progress. We are going to sharply expose the glaring failures and gaps between promises made and promises kept. A year later, the Honorable Premier expects us to believe him when our roads are in despair, claiming lives and causing unnecessary suffering to our people, hospitals struggling with staff shortages, and infrastructural defects like in the Metalwork Hospital and many others, where cracks in walls and faulty equipment pose a threat to patients and the staff. Schools lacking resources and education officials implicated in laptop scandals, getting slapped on the wrist, punishment, and unemployment rate soaring. Honorable Speaker, instead of giving a proper account of what has happened in the previous year, the Honorable Premier decided to take Cell C's program, Take a Girl Child to Work, and brought Ugogo to the legislature. It's a Take a Girl Child to Work program by SALC. Should not bring Gogolan, because the gesture of bringing Gogo here, we appreciate it. For every grandmother is a repository of wisdom and a pillar of her community. And siyabonga our ancestors for keeping her. And we wish her health and happiness. But Honorable Speaker, let us be clear. The grandmother was a shield. She was brought here to soften us, to distract us, to make us sympathize with the men delivering a wish list of miscalculated lost opportunities while the grandmothers of Mpumalanga suffer in silence.
Order, Honorable Speaker.
Can you please take your seat, Honorable Lukele, Honorable Muela?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on a point of order that the Honorable Member is misleading the House, because the Honorable Premier in his speech, he did not mention that he brought Ugogo because of taking the girl child to work, but it was a guest of the Honorable Premier, like Honorable Kelly had his own guest, a young girl, as part of his guest. Thank you very much.
Honorable Lukele, in terms of our rules, rule number 38, which speaks about members not to deliberately mislead the House. Can you please not mislead the House, because the Honorable Premier stated very clear. I take that point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. There's a Gogo at Likwa municipality who has not seen water from her tap for the last 4 years. Honorable Speaker, under an ANC administration where the Premier himself is a chairperson, 4 years of walking kilometers to fetch water, of watching her children going to school unwashed, and praying for the rain while the government preys on the poor. Gogo Vilagazi at Hoedspruit, Edenburg, at Mkondo municipality. She was born there. She was raised there. And still she has no water, no land, no decent house, no road, no access to a dilapidated structure she calls home, which when she tries to rebuild, a farmer named J.J.C. Kher refuses her. When she seeks help from her ward councillor, who happens to be the speaker of the Mkondo municipality, she's turned away. When she approaches land affairs officials, they demand bribes. When she calls the MLO police, they protect the farmer who violates her rights. Those are Gogos, serious Gogos that have a problem in the province. Honorable Speaker, this is not government. This is not governance. This is a conspiracy against the poor. And what of my guest, Ms. Tabile Choma from Emalahleni, who couldn't be here on the 5th? She lies in a hospital bed in another province, recovering from reconstructive surgery after the Witbank Tertiary Hospital experimented on her body. She went in for help and came out needing to be rebuilt. We pray that the healthcare practitioners in the other province will find it in their hearts to give her the dignity that the ANC government denied her. We pray that she will live to be a grandmother to her own children, unlike props. How can we trust this government with our lives when hospitals meant to save us are ticking time bombs? When those meant to educate our children are embroiled in scandals and corruption? The people will not be silenced. We will hold the government accountable for its action or its lack of, therefore. However, Honorable Speaker, we sat in this House and listened to every word the Premier spoke. We watched as his ANC colleagues join in singing Sebakanyana Se, a hymn that speaks of little time given by God to get one's house in order. Sebakanyana. The Premier sang, in fact, this was a prophetic. The Premier sang that God gave the ANC an opportunity and a little time to get their acts together. But Honorable Speaker, that time has run out.
In 2024, the people of Mpumalanga spoke. The votes tell a different story. From a resounding 72% in 2019 to just over 50% in 2024. They have reduced the ANC mandate because they have experienced the ANC's failures. The Premier failed to tell this House that he leads a failed project. He failed to account for the promises made and broken. Instead, he sang a hymn while the province is burning. Honourable Speaker, let us speak of the ghosts that haunt this province, the projects promised in the previous SOPAs and now have vanished into thin air. Where is the Nkosi City? An 8.1 billion project in the Mbombela municipality, right here in the Etlhazeni region. We were assured it will create over 15 million jobs for our young people. It was presented in this very same House in the previous SOPAs, unprovoked and unashamedly, as a flagship of ANC delivery. Today, silence. The Premier did not mention it. The youth who were promised jobs are still unemployed. The land lies fallow while dreams lie buried. Where is the Mpumalanga High Altitude Sports Center at Emakhazeni? In the Ngangala region. This was supposed to be a world-class facility producing Olympic athletes, creating jobs and putting Mpumalanga on the global sporting map. Where it is, Honourable Premier? Did it dissolve like a sugar in the rain? Where is the parliamentary village?
Speaker.
Where the here in Mbombela, a project that it is...
Honorable Lukela, can you please take your seat?
Honorable MEC Mabuza is disturbing us because while the member is debating, she's responding. Can you please call her into order? It's not a debate.
Thank you, Honorable Mkabela. Honorable members, let's remind you about our rules and orders. Rule 37, subsection 1. A member may not interrupt another member while speaking, except to put a question to such a member or call attention to A, a point of order, B, a question of privilege, C, the presence of non-members on the floor of the House. Can you continue, Honorable Lukele?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Where is the parliamentary village here in Mbombela? A project that, if completed on time, will have saved the citizens of Mpumalanga millions of rands in rentals for members of this very legislature. Instead, we pour money into private landlords while our assets gather dust and planning documents. Honorable Speaker, the ANC builds promises. The people suffer the consequences. The Premier promised 29 schools, a noble promise. But, Honourable Speaker, what about the schools we already have? What about the schools with pit toilets that threaten the lives of our children? What about the schools with no libraries, no laboratories, no sports fields? What about the grounds where learners sit? What about the schools where learners sit on the floor because there are not enough desks? You cannot build 29 schools while the existing ones collapse. You cannot speak of education while infrastructure crumbles. We just built a school at Mkondo, the boarding school. Let's go and see the kitchen. Let's see the kitchen in that school. The Special Investigation Unit has uncovered widespread mismanagement in school infrastructure projects across the province. Funds allocated for maintenance have disappeared. Tenders awarded to connected individuals has yielded nothing, and our children pay the price with their future. Honourable Speaker, I speak now directly to the youth of this province and on behalf of them. The unemployment rate stands at 32.3%, but that number hides the truth. In our townships and villages, the rate is far higher. Young people with degrees, with diplomas, with matrics, they sit at home. They sit at street corners. They sit in ship bins, drowning in despair. And what does the ANC offer? Promises, promises, and promises. In Mutleng, a young man smokes nyaupe because there's nothing else to do. In Nyamazan, youth-owned projects collapse because the financial support promised by the councillors never arrives. In Mpumalanga, young people cannot study because load shedding plunges their homes into darkness, and in the province that produces the nation's electricity. Honourable Speaker, this is a crime against the generation. The Nkomati power station decommissioning was supposed to be a just transition. Where are the jobs? Where is the training? Where is the new economy to absorb the young people of that region? There is nothing, just empty promises and broken lives. Honourable Speaker, we submit a proposal to the office of the Premier, not just to critique, but we are proposing. On behalf of the MKP, we request the Honourable Premier to consider establishing a provincial government-owned brick manufacturing facility. 29 schools, all the bricks will come from Limpopo again. Same as the bricks that build Siangoba and all these other villages. All the bricks that we are priding ourselves, they are from the next provinces. Let our province, Mpumalanga, manufacture its own bricks. Let this facility employ the young people of Mpumalanga, in the thousands of them. Let the bricks build 29 schools the Premier promised. Let them build houses for grandmothers like Gogo Vilagazi at Edinburgh. Let them build clinics that will not experiment on our people. Honourable Premier, give the youth of Mpumalanga hope, not promises. Give them tools, not empty words. Give them jobs, not hymns. Give them dignity, not dependence. The ANC has had 30 years of controlling this province, these 30 years of delivering speeches, 30 years of singing songs while the people suffer. The time for songs is over. The time for work, it's now. Honourable Speaker, the local government elections are around the corner. The MKP does not need to prophesy the results of the people of Mpumalanga already know. They know because they live the reality every day. They know because they fetch water from rivers. They know because they watch their children smoke nyaupe out of despair. They know because they have been failed. The Sibakanyana song at the close of his State of the Province address, Premier, was a very wrong song. Let me take this opportunity, Honourable Speaker,
Honourable Member,
and close with a song on a song. Deborah Fraser sang a song. Udlalile ngabantu, udlalile ngabantu, awuyekela ukudlala ngabantu.
I now call upon the Honourable MC Sidibe from the EFF and 8 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and greetings to you, the Honourable Premier. And let me also greet the Commander-in-Chief and President of the Only Radical Movement for Economic Emancipation, the mighty EFF, and the entire leadership collective of the Central Command Team, our PCT members and honorable members of the EFF and the House at large, and most importantly, Hoshim Kwena, the chairperson of the House and President of Contralesa. Well, we are going to debate Sibakanyana today. It's unfortunate that the MK has come before me also about Sibakanyana. But there's a great improvement from the MK. You must just fill your vacant seat. You must be organized. You can't leave a seat for 6 months unfilled. Honorable Premier, I know you and Honorable Mashile for more than 40 decades, before the dawn of democracy. More than 4 decades, sorry, not 40 decades. And I'm not only knowing you, but I've worked with you. I've worked with Mashilo when he was an election, provincial election organizer. I worked with you before you went to
Point of order,
Limpopo
Honorable Speaker.
and come back.
Honorable Sidibe, can you please take your seat? Let me hear the point of order. Honorable Skokwa.
Yeah, no, thanks, Honorable Speaker. I rise on a point of order, Chair, Honorable Speaker, that Honorable Steve is referring to Honorable Mashilo by the name instead of Honorable Member. Thanks, Chair.
What is his name, Chief?
Oh no, it's fine. We normally used to
Can
call
you
him
please correct
Comrade
that,
Speaker.
Honorable
Yeah,
Sidibe?
Honorable Mashilo. Corrected. No, I was saying that there's a Bakanyana song, Honorable Premier. We are not referring to the limited time given to you, but to your organization. And your organization was given an ample time, enough time, to deliver to the people of Mpumalanga services. It was given 31 years to deliver quality services to the people of Mpumalanga and reduce poverty, create sustainable jobs, and fight inequality. But it failed. Mudima ufile the government of the ANC, your party. Sibaka limutsutsu enough, Honorable Premier. 31 years is enough to build new schools in the rapidly growing towns of Nelspruit, Witbank, Middelburg, and Secunda, as well as in the affected villages and townships. But it failed. Mindume gave the ruling party, ANC, the party that you lead, Honorable Premier, enough sibaka, limutsutsu, to build footbridges and roads for learners and teachers to access schools in Bushbuck region, Komazi, in Matsulu. But your government failed. And you'll know that in government and in administration, there's a principle called successor in law. The legal team will help you if you don't understand. It means that when you take over a position of a premier, we are taking over every commitment that was made by your predecessors and ex-while predecessors. Honorable Speaker, you can't come here and complain about time given to your party by the voters as too little. The voters gave your party ample time, but you didn't use the time effectively. Instead, your party lied and made empty promises after empty promises, SOPA after SOPA, for more than 3 decades. Now that you realize that the people are fed up with empty promises and are deserting your party, you say, Sibakanyana, Bafule Sibakanyana, Mutsutunyana. No. The time was enough. 31 years is enough. More than enough. It can be that after 31 years of the ANC as the ruling party, Mapulaneng, Temba, and Standerton Hospital still have no water. Families and relatives of patients must bring 25 liters of basket water when visiting their loved ones or the patients. What kind of a government is this? Honorable Premier, in your previous SOPA, you said kutopunyal tool, like Honorable Thomas said, yeah, meaning there will be work everywhere. But agnal tool el punyagola. Now that you realize that little al pun, it can be true. You were given enough time. That's just a lame excuse. The legendary Peter Tosh once said, you can fool some people sometimes, I quote, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. And to prove that Peter Tosh and Bob Marley was telling the truth, look at your party election performance now. Whoever thought that the once glorious movement of the people and oldest liberation movement in Africa will obtain 40% national? We are out. The reality is that we are out of government. And you survived through the cut of the TTA in Mpumalanga with 51%. And we have no history of recovering a lost ground. That is the honest truth. And this is a demonstration that it is over and that the people are fed up of empty promises. Our organization is now sleeping in the same bed with the party of the murderous apartheid regime, the DA, which tortured, incarcerated, and killed your own comrades during the apartheid struggle. Lest you forget, Honorable
Can you
Premier.
please take your seat, Honorable Grobler?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. It's actually shocking that nobody else calls a point of order and I have to do it. But can Honourable Sidibe please withdraw that? That is not factually correct and actually a historical atrocity if you think that is the truth, Honourable Sidibe.
Honorable Sidibe.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. But the DA has replaced National Party. It's a known fact. And National Party was ruling a murdering regime. Let's pass. Honourable Premier, where's the road from Akonhoek to Tlubugan which you promised the people of Bushbuck Ridge in your first SOPA? And you even went into Mganalonene FM to say that we are bringing the road. There's a serious water crisis all over the township and villages of Mpumalanga. And you promised to build 3 dams. Where are the dams? Tololo today, still feasibility study and so forth. Your government promised the people of Mpumalanga the International Convention Center 20 years ago. Where's the International Convention Center? We need it. In your previous SOPA, you promised the learners of Mpumalanga that your government will connect internet in all their schools. To date, schools are still without internet for almost 2 years.
Take your seat, Honourable
Honourable Premier. Your government must wake
seat.
up. And there's an order.
Take your seat, your time is up.
Oh, thank you, if my time is up.
I will now call upon the Honourable Evim Lombo from the ANC, and you're given 7 minutes.
Honourable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker of the Provincial Legislature, the Honourable Premier, the Leader of Government Business, members of the Executive, my colleagues from the Provincial Legislature, our revered guests, Ohoshi Mkwena, ladies and gentlemen. Honourable Speaker, let me assure the Honourable Premier that contrary to the accusation and the lies that are being spread by the opposition, the Honourable Premier has delivered a very profound, powerful, well-crafted, balanced and well-delivered State of the Province address. The speech by the Honourable Premier was delivered with the greatest passion, with the greatest courage, boldness, self-possession, great humility, and the methodological determination. Throughout the execution of the speech by the Honourable Premier, he demonstrated the highest level of professionalism. He demonstrated the clarity of purpose and the consistency of reporting back on the achievement of the previous State of the Province commitment. The excellent delivery of the speech by the Honourable Premier has given confidence to the people of Mpumalanga that the Mpumalanga province is in safe hands and that the revolution is also in safe hands. Because during this epoch of our revolution, this revolution demands leaders who have the firm conviction to implement the radical economic transformation
Speaker.
and the courage to defend the revolution.
As Franz Fanon once said,
Honorable
I quote,
Mlombo, can you please take your seat? On which rule are you rising on, Honorable Ndlovu?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on to make a point of order to the Honorable Member. He's bringing to the House that there are members in this chamber that are misleading. And according to our rules, it's not allowed. So can he please point out to what exactly did members lied about in the House so that it can be corrected? Because we can't continue with such information because our people are listening and now our members will be seen as liars in the House of Law. Thank you.
Honorable Mlombo, can you please proceed?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I was indicating that the present state of our revolution demands leaders who have the conviction to implement the radical transformation of our country. As Franz Fanon once said, each generation must discover its mission, fulfill it or betray it. I can confirm, Honorable Speaker, without mincing my words, that this generation of leaders from the ANC branch in Mpumalanga have discovered their mission, and their mission is to defend the revolution, is to advance the revolution, and is to consolidate the gains of the revolution. We have heard the opposition that they are trying to find a black cat in a dark room. They are trying to search for weaknesses within the speech of the Honorable Speaker. They are trying to throw mud at the Honorable Premier, thinking that that mud will stick. It will not speak. It will not stick, because the speech by the Honorable Premier was not just an ordinary speech. It was a call to action. It was a blow-by-blow account of the achievements and the setbacks of our revolution. It was a confirmation of the strides that we have achieved in building capacity and momentum towards the achievement of the developmental state. It was a command and a reminder to all the motive forces of the revolution that this movement, the African National Congress, its a plan envisioned 2020, as a platform for united action by all South Africans to alleviate poverty, create full employment, and reduce inequalities as the critical building blocks towards a truly united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous South Africa. Hence, the Honorable Premier took time to take us through a comprehensive, detailed journey on the achievements and shortfalls on the targets of the National Development Plan. We must confirm, Honorable Premier, that we commit to support you in complying with the National Development Plan on the targets of job creation, poverty alleviation, and economic growth. The speech reminded us of our long-term contract that were enjoyed by the Freedom Charter to build a society wherein South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white, that only a democratic state based on the will of the people can secure to their birthright without distinction, color, race, sex, or belief. We thank you very much. We support the speech by the Honorable Premier. Thank you very much.
I will now call upon the Honorable P. Grobler from the TA, and you are given 4 minutes.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and greetings to the House at large. Honourable Speaker, I speak through you, Honourable Premier. Your State of the Province address delivered last Friday made me think of the saying by the old philosopher George Berkeley, who said that if a tree fall in the middle of the forest and nobody is there to hear it, does it make a sound? And that's the question which I had in my mind when I listened to your speech, Honourable Premier. You mentioned a few things, but you did not mention the maternal mortality rate. That is the rate where mothers pass on while they give birth. That is 114.5 out of 100,000. We're the fourth worst province in South Africa. If you didn't mention it, doesn't mean mothers are not dying. Similarly, Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Premier used semantics to mask the failures of the new administration. He used statistics from 32 years ago when he spoke about health. We all know that technology, equipment, medicine, techniques improved significantly in the past 32 years. And to compare stats from 32 years to the stats of today is really misleading. Honourable Premier failed to state that the neonatal death rate is 13.4 per 1,000. We're also the fourth worst province in the country. Honourable Premier, the fact is that babies are still dying in our provincial hospitals, and you failed to mention what our administration is going to do to stop mothers and babies from dying. Just because you didn't mention it, does it mean it doesn't happen? Honourable Premier, the residents of Mpumalanga are also not happy with this specific department, the Department of Health, when it comes to the appointment of community healthcare workers, as the Department of Health is notorious for appointing friends and families, and also people that don't live in that specific community, into these positions. Just because you didn't mention it, does it mean it doesn't happen? Just last week, communities in Kanyamazan, Siangoba, Bushbuck Reach, just to name a few, have been protesting due to the lack of basic services, specifically the lack of water. Just because you didn't mention it, does it mean it doesn't happen? Honourable Speaker, the Premier stated that the provincial government reached almost 50% of the target of 60,000 new jobs. The fact is the administration is failing, Honourable Premier. We should do much better than that. We are complacent and we are not creating enough jobs in this province. Just because you didn't mention it, does it mean it doesn't happen? Honourable Premier, the pronouncements stay the same and the progress reports stay the same. Various members here have mentioned it today that we've heard these promises before. The High Altitude Centre, the International Fresh Produce Market, the unfinished agri, the cultural hub, the parliamentary village, Mpumalanga Hospital, which you said will be finished completely. Honourable Premier, I really think that you are disconnected with what's happening on the ground. I think you rely too much on reports from departments. I think you rely too much on reports from the executive. And with all due respect, I think you should visit some of these projects so that you can see what we see when we do oversight. It's shocking what happens in some of our buildings that are owned by government. Like the good old Helen Suzman, who fought against apartheid, Honourable Sidibe, said, go and see for yourself, Honourable Premier. Don't find yourself disconnected from the ground and from the people of this province. But if you do, we will be ready there to catch those votes in 2026. And the DA will take over some of the municipalities in this province. And we'll show you what you mean.
The time is up, Honourable Member. I will now call upon the Honourable FT Mashiane from the Action SA, and you are given 4 minutes.
Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, Honourable Members of this House, Hoshum Kwena, the true test of any State of the Province address is not the strength of the words spoken in this House or the clapping of hands by deputy ministers, but whether the people of Mpumalanga feel the change in their daily lives. Honourable Speaker, while the Premier address outlines progress and plans for the coming year, it is equally important that we confront the challenges that continue to affect our communities across this province. Honourable Speaker, one of the most pressing issues remains the damage caused in infrastructure following the devastating weather since 2024. Severe storms and flooding affected many parts of our province, including the rural areas of Nkomazi, Bushbuck Reach, and the rest. While government has begun restoring infrastructure, the reality is that many communities are still dealing with the consequences. For our learners in particular, damaged school facilities mean overcrowded classrooms and disrupted learning. Honourable Speaker, another growing concern in our province is the continued presence of illegal mining, commonly known as zamazamas. These criminal operations undermine the legitimate mining sector, damage the environment, and often bring violence and instability into communities. Madam Speaker, Honourable Speaker, I was really disappointed to hear the President of the country prioritizing Gauteng and Western when it comes to zamazamas, when we know very well that in Mpumalanga we have most of those unused mines and zamazamas are more in Mpumalanga. My understanding is that such speeches are being discussed in the NEC of the party. I wonder what the Premier and the Secretary of the ANC said when they realized that Mpumalanga is not part of those interventions. The reopening and development of mines such as Lily Mine and Babrook Mine present potential opportunities for economic revival and job creation. However, communities must be at the center of these developments. Mining must benefit the people who live closest to these resources. Honourable Speaker, as the Premier has said, that tourism remains one of the strongest pillars in Mpumalanga's economy. Our province continues to attract visitors from across countries and the world because of its natural beauty and biodiversity. Indeed, tourism has positioned Mpumalanga as one of the most visited provinces in South Africa. However, recent criminal incidents and raids targeting tourists in areas connected to major tourism destinations have raised serious concerns. When visitors feel unsafe, they take their business elsewhere. Honourable Speaker, we must also recognize the value of our heritage site. The Barberton Makonja Mountains World Heritage Site is one of the most important geological heritage sites in the world. The people of Mpumalanga are not asking for miracles, Honourable Speaker. They are asking for safe communities, functioning schools, protected tourism destinations, and economic opportunities that reach ordinary people. Let us ensure that the commitments made in this House move beyond speeches and becomes real improvements in the lives of the people we serve. Because ultimately, the success of this province will not be measured by what we promise today, but by what our people experience tomorrow. I thank you.
I will now call upon the Honorable S.K. Mashilo, and you are given 10 minutes.
Honorable Speaker and Deputy Speaker, honorable members, our Premier and honorable guest, and Koshimukwena, our Chairperson and President of Contralesa, good afternoon. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to join the honorable members in debating a wonderful address, a SOPA, by the Premier of the province. In 1929, a commission called the Kanik Commission was established in terms of the whites that were underprivileged or live in utmost poverty. 1932, they released the report, and the then government did not accept the report. It was the English government United Party, and therefore the report was shelved. In 1948, the Nationalist Party took over this government and the country. In 1952, they established what we referred as apartheid in reference to what the Kanik Commission said. And in short, the Kanik referred that the whites must get more privilege against the black majority. In 1955, the ANC, then counterpart this matter, established what we called the Freedom Charter, which allows all of us today to sit and talk so nice. As we conclude this important debate on the State of the Province address, the African National Congress rise once again to reaffirm its historic mission to build a united, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous South Africa. This debate takes place in the year ANC has declared the year of decisive action to fix local government and transform the economy. It is a year that demands courage, discipline, visible result in the daily lives of our people. The Premier's address gave the House and the peoples of the province a clear, honest account of the state of our province. It reflects on the progress we've made, the challenges we continue to face, and the decisive intervention that will move our province forward. For the ANC, this debate is not about the rhetoric, it's about the responsibility of governance and the duty to improve the lives of our people. This year marks the 30 years since the adoption of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, a constitution that guarantees the rights of dignity, housing, education, healthcare, and basic services. It also places an obligation on the democratic state of progressive realizes these rights and ensure that development reaches every community. Over the past 3 decades, government has expanded access to services, infrastructure, and opportunities for millions of South Africans. In Mpumalanga alone, the democratic state has delivered over 267,000 houses and service sites, 27,000 title deed, providing dignified shelter and security for families who previously lived as a para in the land of their birth. Entire communities have been transformed through integrated human settlement that provides access to water, electricity, roads, schools, and healthcare facilities. This achievement demonstrated the continuous commitment of the ANC-led People's Government to restore dignity and expand the social wage for the people of Mpumalanga. They also remind us that development is a continuous process that requires sustained development, investment, capable institutions, and active citizen participation. Local government remains the sphere where democracy is felt most directly in the lives of our people. We are currently engaged in a fundamental review of the local government white paper for an improved approach rooted in resilience, fiscal discipline, and people-centered state. The ANC has therefore taken a firm position that fixing local government must be at the center of governance in this period. Our approach focuses on restoring institutional capability, strengthening governance systems, and improving accountability so that municipalities can deliver consistent and reliable services. Municipalities must have stable administration, sound financial management, and skilled personnel in key positions so that public resources translate into visible services. Indeed, we can confirm that Honorable Premier and Honorable Members, we have done some skills. All the appointed municipal managers, CFOs, and majority of the workers, they've got qualifications that desire them to work in those institutions. Government is therefore strengthened financial management system, improved billing, and revenue collections. And we call upon all of us that are seated here to make sure that we pay our billing so that municipalities can deliver services. Indeed, Honorable Premier, there is no government that supports traditional leaders as your government in this province. And indeed, it's been confirmed and attested by our chairperson of the House and the President of Controllers. Continue, Premier, support Ramakosi as they are a very important institutions in the country. Honorable Speaker, I think it's important for me to clarify 1 or 2 issues. Honorable Lukele came here and misunderstand one issue. When you invited Gogo Ndlovu, who is 92 years, to come here, equally, he was joined by Mkulu Zuma, who is 83 years in Cape Town, to listen to the debate as such. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, when the Premier made reference to Sebakanyane, he was misunderstood equally. He made reference to Sebakanyane. You know, in the front seat, some years ago it was DA, and later it was EFF. Today is you. Sebakanyane salona. You might as well be pushed back as we make the progress move forward. Our vision for human settlement does not end with the delivery of houses. It includes the creation of modern, sustainable, and inclusive cities that support economic growth and improve quality of life. We are amongst the few provinces aggressively advancing the present vision shared in the SONA 2019 of developing smart cities. We are ready to break ground, Hospital View, Honorable Premier, making an important step towards the development of modern settlement and integrated housing services across the province. These initiatives demonstrate that Mpumalanga is not only addressing current housing needs, but is also planning for the cities in the future. Honorable Speaker, allow me in a small scale to give what I referred a free lecture in terms of the planning. A planning is the systematic, continuous processes of defining goals, establishing strategies, and outlining tasks and schedules to achieve a desired future outcome. It involves organizing resources, time, money, people, and making decisions in advance to the bridges, the gap between where you are and where you wanted to go. At this point in time, I can assure you, Honorable Speaker in the House, that all what the Honorable Premier have said, they fall under this category, and in no time, you shall see the progress. Wait a moment, unless you believe you'll be out of power or out of this legislature soon. Several areas have experienced flooding damages, roads and bridges, and communities temporarily cut off their essential services. Our response is indeed huge, since the national government have declared these areas as a classified area. Dear Honorable Premier, we are responding, and you will see as we are going to outline in the budget of majority of our departments, since tomorrow we'll as well accept the budget. Government responded by declaring these areas, and we are responding accordingly. Furthermore, we are moving towards all municipalities paving their internal roads, tearing them as part of mitigating efforts against the drought effect of a climate change. Honorable Premier, we accepted and we have since established a planning team at the level of the province to do things better and better than yesterday. As we approach the 2026 local government elections, the ANC will once again present itself before the people of Mpumalanga to account for its work and outline its vision for the future of our municipalities. The people of the province, they know exactly what they want, what to give them. Thank you very much.
And will reject
One
some of
Moroto,
those-
one ANC.
And will reject some of those budgets, Honorable MEC.
Honorable members, that concludes the
Reject
debate
most of them.
on the Premier of the Province address. The Secretary shall read the second order of the day.
Order number 2, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Culture, Sport and Recreation. 2.1, annual report for 2024-25 financial year, Department of Culture, Sport and Recreation. 2.2, second quarterly performance report for 2025-26 financial year, Department of Culture, Sport and Recreation.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio on Culture, Sport and Recreation, Honorable B. Grobler, to table the reports.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. On behalf of the Committee of Culture, Sports and Recreation, I table the 2 reports as it was read by the Secretary to the House for adoption. I thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Grobler. Agreed to?
Agreed.
So agreed. The Secretary shall read the third order of the day.
Order number 3, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance, Human Settlement and Traditional Affairs. 3.1, annual report for 2024-25 financial year, Department of Human Settlement. 3.2 Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Department of Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs. 3.4 Report on the feedback session on oversight visits that were conducted at Victor Kanye local municipality on the 11th to the 12th of November 2025.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Honorable D.P. Nkosi, to table the reports.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee of Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs to table these 4 reports for consideration and adoption by this August House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Nkosi. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 4th order of the day.
Order number 4, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Education. 4.1, Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Department of Education. 4.2, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Department of Education. 4.3, Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Mpumalanga Regional Training Trust. 4.4, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Mpumalanga Regional Training Trust. Report 4.5, Report on the feedback session on taking legislature to the people conducted at Victor Kanye local municipality on the 11th to the 12th of November 2025.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Honorable T.S. Khoza, to table the reports.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Education to table all the 5 reports as outlined by the Secretary for this August House to consider and adopt it. Thank you very much.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Khoza. Agreed to?
Agreed.
As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 5th order of the day.
Order number 5, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Health. 5.1, Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Department of Health. 5.2, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Department of Health. 5.3, Report on the oversight visit conducted at Bernice Samuel Hospital.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Health, Honorable M.N. Mhlongo, to table the reports.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I hereby table the 3 reports of the Portfolio Committee on Health for consideration by this August House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Mhlongo. Agreed to?
Agreed.
As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 6th order of the day.
Order number 6, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Economic Development and Tourism. 6.1, Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Department of Economic Development and Tourism. 6.2, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Department of Economic Development and Tourism. 6.3, report on the oversight activities conducted at Victor Kanye local municipality during the taking legislature to the people feedback session on 11 to 12 November 2025.
I now call upon the chairperson on the Portfolio Committee on Economic Development and Tourism, Honorable L.A. Mbuyane, to table the reports.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee for Economic Development and Tourism, I hereby table the reports as presented by the Secretary for consideration and adoption.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Mbuyane. Agreed to? Agreed. As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 7th order of the day.
Order number 7, consideration of reports of the Oversight Committee on Legislature and Premier's Office. 7.1, Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature. 7.2, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature. 7.3, Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Office of the Premier. 7.4, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Office of the Premier.
I now call upon the Chairperson on Oversight Committee on Legislature and Premier's Office, Honorable TMJ Grovier Morgan, to table the reports.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Legislature and Premier's Office to table the 4 reports as presented for this House to consider and adopt. I thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Grovier Morgan. Agreed to?
Agreed.
As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 8th order of the day.
Order number 8, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development. 8.1, Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Department of Social Development. 8.2, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Department of Social Development.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, Honorable T.R. Nkonyane, to table the reports.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee of Social Development to table the 2 reports for consideration and adoption by this August House. I thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Nkonyane. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 9th order of the day.
Order number 9, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport. 9.1, Annual Report for 2024-25 Financial Year, Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport. 9.2, Second Quarterly Performance Report for 2025-26 Financial Year, Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport. 9.3, Report on the oversight visit conducted at Reed Call Primary School in Victor Kanye local municipality on the 11th of November 2025.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport, Honorable S.M. Malepeng, to table the reports.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport to table the reports as read by the Secretary for consideration and adoption by the House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Malepeng. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 10th order of the day.
Order number 10, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Community Safety, Security and Liaison, annual report for 2024-25 financial year, Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison. 10.2, second quarterly performance report for 2025-26 financial year, Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Community Safety, Security and Liaison, Honorable L.R. Monini, to table the reports.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee for the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison, I table the reports as read into the record by the Secretary for consideration and adoption by the August House. Thank you so much.
I am informed that there is no debate on this report. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the report as tabled by Honorable Monini. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 11th order of the day.
Order number 11, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. 11.1, annual report for 2024-25 financial year, Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Environmental Affairs. 11.2, second quarterly performance report for 2025-26 financial year, Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Environmental Affairs. 11.3, report on the follow-up meeting with the farmers and beneficiaries conducted at Mkutlo Agri Hub, Bushbuck Ridge Local Municipality on the 15th of October 2025. 11.4, report on the taking legislature to the people conducted at Victor Kanye Local Municipality on 11 to 12 November 2025.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs, Honorable MC Sidibe, to table the reports.
Thank you once more, Speaker. I rise as the Chairperson, not on behalf, as the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environment Affairs, to table the 4 reports for consideration and adoption by the House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt these reports as tabled by Honorable Sidibe. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 12th order of the day.
Order number 12, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Finance. 12.1, annual report for 2024-25 financial year, Provincial Treasury. 12.2, second quarterly performance report for 2025-26 financial year, Provincial Treasury.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Finance, Honorable Elsie Dlamini, to table the reports.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Finance to table the 2 reports as read by the Secretary for consideration and adoption by the House. Thank you very much.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Dlamini. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the 13th order of the day.
Order number 13, consideration of reports of the Select Committee on Public Accounts on the 13.1 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Mpumalanga Regional Training Trust. 13.2 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Economic Development and Tourism and public entities. 13.3 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. 13.4 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport. 13.5 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison. 13.6 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature. 13.7 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Office of the Premier. 13.8 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Culture, Sport and Recreation. 13.9 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Provincial Treasury. 13.10 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Education. 13.11 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. 13.12 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Human Settlements. 13.13 audit outcomes for 2024-25 financial year Department of Health.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Select Committee on Public Accounts, Honorable D.L. Moyela, to table the reports.
It doesn't bite this scope, man.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Select Committee on Public Accounts, I rise to present all the report as read by the Secretary for the House to adopt. Thank you very much.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled.
It's not biting.
Honorable Mkabela, I did not recognize you. Can you please not interrupt while I'm speaking? I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Muwela. Agreed to?
Agreed.
So agreed. That concludes the business for the day. You are all requested to remain standing in your places until the procession has left the chamber. The House is adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, the 11th of March, 2026 at 10 o'clock in this very same chamber.
Sawubona, Honorable Mbuyane.